Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin still holding above the trend line. Okay, so that trend line is still holding the green ascending trend line there with a roughly a 45-degree angle. I think I mentioned in one of the previous videos, maybe you watched it, that these 45-degree angle trend lines are, in my experience, the most reliable ones. The previous ones were a bit steep, but I highlighted, yeah, watch for the 45-degree one here. So again, the trend line is holding. It's not so important from an Elliott Wave point of view, but it means we're still printing higher highs, higher lows. Obviously here we are currently dealing with a sideways consolidation, and we haven't got a confirmed low in place yet because there hasn't been any, even on the micro level, there hasn't been a 5-wave move up yet from the recent low. So that suggests we could see some further sideways consolidation, maybe even the top is in place. The problem is with this structure that it would have looked best with just one more final high, but that didn't happen. So there is a way to call the move up complete, but the pullback is also in 3 waves. And I shared with you, I think in the previous video, that we need to hold that $85,000 level. I mean, at least this is the next structural support that I'm tracking. And this the only one I really have until before we break into the Fibonacci support zone below, which would then be, I mean, if we break below 85,000, I will assume that we have started the larger wave 4. And I talked about it in previous updates that the pullback could be quite sharp. It's just something to be prepared for. You know, I'm not calling for a crash, just talking about a swift pullback possibly into that area there around, yeah, I mean, 79K maybe, that's the 50% retracement, or 76K. Is the 61.8 retracement. I mean, I've slightly moved this support area higher based on the latest high. We will have to be a bit flexible because I'm not entirely sure about the top there with this 3-wave move, but then I could call it like the wave 4 here. So I don't want to, don't worry so much about the micro counting. I think for me at the moment, as long as we're holding above the trend line, I'm looking for higher prices to complete one more high in this 3rd wave in blue, which started down here on the 5th of November, 4th of November. Because this move up doesn't look, it could still get another high easily. The pullbacks are corrective, all right? I mean, of course, I cannot rule out that it's doing something like an ABC here and rolls over, right? But that's what I'm saying, as long as we're holding above the trend line. Okay, below the trend line, there's one more support level. I think that would help us distinguish between bullish momentum and bearish momentum, and that is here, this red line, 85K. So that's just a signal level, that's all it is. I don't have a clear long trade setup at the moment or anything, unless you use maybe the trend line or that 85K level for a stop. But yeah, there is no 1-2 setup or anything. A bit tricky to come up with a with any, let's say, clear Fibonacci support that would be any closer than the one I already have there. But therefore, I'm showing you the trend line. I'm showing you that 85K level. So focus on that. And if we get one more high, which again, I'm still watching for primarily, I'd say, even though the bulls just need to turn up from here. The next upside level, 97,350 and then 100K. So question is still there, do we get to 100K? Maybe one more high to 100K? Maybe, maybe. We're still holding quite well. But the problem I just have is also that from the intraday low, the rally was only in 3 waves. So what I'm thinking, maybe this is even some kind of a weird triangle. You can get these so-called running triangles where indeed a lower degree 3rd wave formed a top on Tuesday the 12th. Then this was an A wave down, an overshooting B wave, C wave, D wave, E wave, and then we go higher. I mean, then it would need to break out at some point now, but it doesn't really look like a triangle. It's a bit, yeah, I mean, it's not really triangle-like, is it? But yeah, overall, I think levels are still the same. So it's just a short update. And what would be a first indication that we're going higher? Well, minimally, I'd like to see a move above 90,700. The last high, I don't think that's so meaningful. Better would be a move above the high above it, so around about 91,880. And then obviously the Fibonacci levels are on the chart. and the Fibonacci support level was also mentioned. Okay, so I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Also, on the weekend, I'll try again to send out a newsletter. We did it last week. I mean, it's busy at the moment, so I'm not sure if I can send out another newsletter. Try to. If you want to be prepared for that and you haven't registered yet, you can do so in the video description. There's a link to our free newsletter. It's completely for free, but there are additional updates in there. And yeah, check it out if you're interested. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.